No. And then out from the ground popped a weasel. I wonder if someone's gonna bother rewatching the video and then comment, "Oh no, you gave me such a fright." That would be hilarious. Right. So, are we live? Just making sure of something. That's funny. Why is it saying 30 seconds? That's so weird. I guess it's funny how the StreamYard works. All right, just making sure we're live. We are live. Yep. All right, just making sure we're live. Yep, we're live. In front of a live studio audience. All right. So, might as well spread the word out. It has been a while since I've done one of these kind of live streams. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man. They played an Elton John song for the recent Ballerina trailer, the new spin-off movie for the John Wick series. They're continuing on the John Wick series, but they don't want to continue the story of John Wick himself, because that would be rather disrespectful to his conclusion in Chapter 4. It seems that Hollywood does have dignity when they allow themselves to have it. All right. Welcome to whoever has joined in the live stream. We've got a variety of topics to cover because it's been quite a long time since I did one of these. So I'll be keeping eyes on stuff. Keeping eyes on the skies, all full of surprises. All right, just making sure. Okay, who else should I send this link to? Oh, I know exactly who to send this to. Be right back. All right. So we are going to send this to a group of friends. A group of friends. Who else should I send this to? Worth a shot. Worth a shot. It may not happen, but you know it's worth a shot. All right, I think that's everything. All right, let's get started on the topics at hand. So, for starters, thank you all so much for your support. This channel lives and thrives off an audience doing what they do, watching my videos and stuff like that. Albeit more people have been watching my most popular video for understandable reasons. I appreciate that. I wish more people would also go to the extent of watching the other content on my channel. But hey ho, I've swallowed my pride, learned the hard way that with a channel that has a variety of topics, it usually confuses the algorithm, which is why I wanted to make my first announcement. Come to make an announcement. You shush. Anyway, so I'm working on a new YouTube channel, and as of right now, I can safely say it's nearly ready. This is something I've been trying to work on for some time, and it's one in which I've been collaborating with friends who live locally. This is going to be a very fun channel. I'm not going to give away what exactly it is just yet. But hopefully, the fact that it has a more concentrated topic will encourage people to share it with others and have some laughs and stuff like that. This new YouTube channel. Oh, sorry, I just got a message. I just had to turn the sound on as I was live streaming this. All right, all right. Oh, good, good. Something happened. Very good, very good. Righty. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Anyway, so yes, the new YouTube channel is being worked on as we speak. Someone's going to text me again or something. It's something that I've been working on with friends. So the kind of content I'm making on this new YouTube channel, I'm going to make it separate from the content I make on this channel. I suppose in a way it's somewhat related, but at the same time, it is mainly based on the passion of my friend, basically. So it's honestly, this new YouTube channel is more a channel for him than it is for me, honestly. But I'm taking responsibility to do a lot of the editing and personal input, regardless, as well as trying to apply what I've learned from my many years of being on YouTube. So I'll get to work on that. So just interesting, as it's very difficult for me to work on multiple things at once. So, sorry, multiple things are going on at once. Anyway, so just wanted to share that with you. So, shut up! Right.
I'm sorry. I was so mean-spirited. How can you say such a thing?
Right. Also, something worth bringing up. I've been hearing rumors that Cartoon Network, the beloved young animation, has essentially it's on the threat also. Who's there? Aha! Sam Gloves. Ah, yes. You again. We've covered this already. Right. Anyway, going back to Cartoon Network. Thank you. Yep. Sorry, just sorting things out. There we go. So, ideally, Cartoon Network is under threat of being shut down. I think it's mainly due to the fact that not many people are tuning into the programming. Man, Cartoon Network had their golden age in the 90s and the 2000s. Well, mainly during the 2000s. It's such a shame to see Cartoon Network under threat. This, but at the same time, when you look at the most recent history and consider the fact that Teen Titans Go, with the exception of their movie, did not get the most positive of receptions. That and the fact that they kept releasing other shows that had lackluster content compared to what they had in the past. Yeah, you could see why people were really beginning to tune out. Not to mention shows like the more modern take on Powerpuff Girls was trying to catch on to fads and trends more so than being authentic entertainment. Yeah, and that's basically what happened with Cartoon Network. It started chasing fads and trends instead of having authentic entertainment with family values. They started to undermine themselves in a lot of ways. Lackluster humor, and as well as just lesser quality that basically devalued the family values. And so it shouldn't really surprise us that Cartoon Network is under threat. Now, here's the thing. Cartoon Network could very well survive this, but if it doesn't, I'd imagine their beloved shows are going to like go over to HBO Max or something. And people have been saying that, oh, I'm going to collect physical DVDs in case this sort of thing were to happen. At the very least, we can say that Samurai Jack at least had a satisfying conclusion. But that was on Adult Swim, and people were very divided on the ending of Samurai Jack. But thankfully, the video game Samurai Jack Battle Through Time managed to have one of the few good retcons in pop culture history. So, yes, Samurai Jack did end off on a high note. So, at least there's that. Also, something else I've been hearing is something I've been... there's this rumor circulating around the internet. Apparently, there was some kind of leakage from behind the scenes at DreamWorks. Now, DreamWorks has had quite the fantastic reboot of a reputation as of late, mainly thanks to masterpiece movies like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And The Wild Robot. In fact, recently there was a recent video I saw in which the Hollywood filmmakers, like if I'm not mistaken, Ryan Coogler and Jordan Peele, are talking about are openly talking about how they've gained a lot of filmmaking influences from Akira as well as Puss in Boots: The Last Wish for their recent movies. You know, the famous Akira bike slide and the way death is depicted in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, that really seems to have made an impact on people, and people found that sort of thing really entertaining, and they try to implement that into their own stories in meaningful ways. So I'm glad to hear that animation is being taken seriously by filmmakers at Hollywood. So hey, rejoice! Animation is being taken seriously as a work of art. So it just seems kind of a shame that DreamWorks, of all things, keep in mind, this is what I'm about to show you. This is the same people who made Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. So keep that in mind for what I'm about to share with you. Let's see. Brace yourselves, basically. Brace yourselves. So according to this, sorry, I'm still getting used to this. No, I guess no. What the? Dad, what's going on here? What? No. Remove. Sorry. Add to the stage. There we go. Right. So if I want to do that, okay, got it. Sorry. Okay, right. I guess I can just stick with this. Anyway, you guys can still hear me, right? Yeah. Right. So just make sure that. So according to this rumor, Instagram user Film Buzzer has revealed that, according to insider MTTSH, Shrek 5 will feature Shrek and Donkey getting lost in the real human world. Shrek's daughter, voiced by Zendaya, practices magic and accidentally transports the pair there. Well, this wouldn't be the first time Shrek and Donkey were transported in a way that they didn't intend. I mean, it happened with Merlin accidentally switching the bodies of Donkey and Proust in them simultaneously. But, oh boy, people are not responding very positively, to put it mildly. Or they did. I mean, the initial teaser for Shrek 5 did not get the best reception. I mean, I get the idea. I can get behind the idea that this is set in later years and that Shrek, Donkey, Fiona, and the like are older now. I mean, that I can get behind, but the actual animation quality for what we see seemed fairly cheap, almost as if it was generated by AI. It has kind of this uncanny valley plastic look to it. Okay, maybe not so much from this frame, arguably, but certainly from when you see it in the movement in action. I just think, wait, are you sure these are the same people who brought us all those wonderful Shrek movies from the past? Oh, excellent. Men of culture, we meet again. Yes, we meet once again, Double A. That we do. And we're just basically catching up with all the news. Thank you very much for joining us, Double A. I look forward to a lot of conversation. So why don't we talk about something much more positive, Double A? And I'm glad you came in because I wanted to say something about Little Miss Scribbles. Come on, load up. Here we go. When will you wear wigs? Wait, what? Okay, you want me to wear wigs? All right. I guess I can wear a wig. Okay, where's the wig? I have wigs. I do have them. I have a wig. Why did you bring up wigs? What made you think of wigs? Okay, come on. Where's the wig? Aha! Here we go. Here's a wig. All right. Someone edit this and put it completely out of context. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Remember that interview with Dom Monaghan and Elijah Wood? The prank interview was in German accent. Oh, okay, right. Remember that interview with Dom and Elijah? The prank interview was in German accent. Yeah. I guess some of the funny mood. I'm in a bit of a funny mood as of late as well because with a friend of mine, the same person I'm collaborating on the new YouTube channel with, I've been catching up with comedy movies. I've managed to see both Hot Shot movies for the first time, as well as the first two Naked Gun movies. So there is that. Yeah, I look like Clark Kent. Just as well you brought up Clark Kent, I will be talking about Superman later because that's another thing I need to catch up with. But anyway, just whilst you're here, Double A, just want to talk about Blake, and she's graduated on social media, and she's a close friend and YouTuber. And apparently she's going to be releasing new content on her channel. And much to everyone's surprise, including myself, it's apparently Malika Scribbles, as you call her, Double A, has been writing lyrics for songs. Lyrics. She's got several singers to sing out her songs. But I'm not going to let you hear all of it for copyright reasons. Right, so the end of Cartoon. Okay, you're catching up with the live stream. Good. Now, the end of Cartoon Network. We were lucky to be kids when we were. Kids these days have it rough. Yeah, you brought that up before, Double A. I mean, I will admit, I personally didn't really grow up watching a lot of Cartoon Network stuff. I mean, I knew about Powerpuff Girls. Maybe saw Johnny Bravo stuff here and there. Other than Powerpuff Girls, I didn't really have a significant exposure to Cartoon Network. Like, it wasn't until I was in my college years I started to really get into Samurai Jack and its slow pacing, its stylized visuals, and its emphasis on its unique, strong visual storytelling. And I became such a fan of Samurai Jack that there was this unresolved plot thread that got retconned by the time the series was rebooted for the grown-up audience in Adult Swim. And I decided to make that fan animation, which to this day is my most popular video on the channel. we had Sky for a couple of years when I was a kid. Only a couple. Sky, Sky as in like the TV Sky thing. You might want to elaborate on that. Anyway, back on topic. So here's another. She's recently uploaded the song called like "My Running Man." Here's one. Okay, so "Sanctify Me," sung by Haley B. Stylized name. Okay, is this thing actually playing? No, it's not. I've yet to play it right. Okay. Yeah, she's actually recorded those songs, and it's pretty impressive. I'm not going to let you hear the full song for copyright reasons, but yeah, I just wanted to show off the fact that Malika's going out of her way to showcase on social media that she's writing these songs, and I've told... Hello, Tekken Combat. I've been told that Malika is going to be releasing not just these songs online to encourage people to study, but apparently, from what I've heard, she's also going to be releasing poetic videos of showcasing her skill in like prose and writing and stuff like that. Because obviously, I mean, she clearly did graduate. You know, she didn't graduate for nothing. You know.
I don't do iconic victory dance for nothing. I guess I'll do this one time just for nothing. Ew, ew, ew.
That's a Smiley Friends reference right there. So, yeah, long story short, Malika, a good friend of ours, will be coming back online, apparently. I don't know exactly when, but hopefully soon. Soon. She's like JonTron. Or like C Nanners in that regards, like, you know, the kind of YouTuber who's like they make great content, but when they're away for a while, you really feel it. I'm really feeling it. Yeah, as in paid channels. Yeah, that's what you meant by Sky. Right. One of the few who uses their degree post university. Yeah, I'm fortunate to be that in that few as well. It's just as well I brought myself up. Sorry to sound like a narcissist. But over on my Instagram channel called Kelvin Critchie Art, I've managed to make this. If you've been following the Light of the World animated movie social media, you would have noticed that there's this thing going on where people can make fan art up until the first day of June. And so I decided to give it a go after seeing some spectacular animation quality in their trailers. And believe it or not, this image managed to get liked by the director of the movie himself. Yes! Praise the Lord! Yes! I'm all in for this movie. I'm all in. Yes and amen. Oh, man. Yep, well timed. I am doing amazing. I'm doing absolutely amazing. I'm such a blessing. How am I feeling today? Great! I'm feeling absolutely great. Today was another particularly sunny day at Inverness. I spent the whole day just going to the gym, having an intense half-hour workout, get my double venison burger. Because it was such a sunny day, just go walk and run about, get myself just a few things, come back here and just meet up with family and stuff like that. Oh man, just great day. Double A also says George R. Martin takes yeah, exactly. George R. Martin takes forever to release a new thing, but it's worth it. Yeah, some people are like that. George R. Martin takes forever to make his books. hey, do you do that? Yeah. Loving it, loving the vibes. Yeah. It's the same way with some YouTubers I've noticed, but you gotta love it when they actually, do something. Oh man. So yeah, Malika will be coming back with some songs. Malika herself is not singing. She's hired other people to sing her lyrics that she wrote. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. So now, what else? Okay, so we covered Shrek 5, covered Scribbles. Okay. We were brought up Superman. Yeah, might as well bring up Superman. So, this trailer seems to be doing the rounds. People are. This trailer released several days ago, and the previous trailers had some mixed reception, but this one, despite the few criticisms here and there, is on the whole generally a lot more positive in its reception. Double A, if she sees this, holy moly. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Don't. Oh man. Anyway, this Superman trailer seems to be doing the rounds proper. It's got the vibrancy, it's got the optimistic, hopeful tone associated with Superman, with the original Christopher Reeve's interpretation of Superman, as well as the original comics. James Gunn is a big fan of superheroes in comic books, as you can clearly see. And he's really bringing his visual flair to Superman. I mean, maybe he's leaning a bit too much on the goofy side, given his track record with... She doesn't watch YouTube. Come on now. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. You know what? Maybe she is watching right now, but she's not bothering to comment. Clever girl. Or maybe she'll like watch later and just giggle to herself before like scolding you personally, Double A, on her DM or something. James come. Of course you'd say Scooby-Doo. Of course you'd say James Gunn should direct Scooby-Doo. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that does make sense in hindsight, because James Gunn is a pop culture guy, and every single thing he's worked on regarding superheroes seems to involve some kind of animal sidekick. So, yeah, perhaps James Gunn should make a Scooby-Doo movie. That would be good. I can't. Anyway, you're gonna say something else stupid, I can tell. So the few complaints that people have had with this particular trailer is that Clark Kent seems to come across more as a man-child, more so than a man. But yeah, I mean, some people could counter-argue that by saying, well, you know, you got to have a character arc and to see him gradually become a man, you know, Superman, man. But on the whole, people are really responding well to this movie, and given the controversial track record of Fantastic Four first steps, I think something tells me Superman may succeed at the box office this year. Do we think David Corenswet is handsome enough to play Superman? There's a question. I mean, I think he seems youthful. A fairly youthful adaptation for what the sort of vibrant vibe going on here. I mean, I think he's certainly muscular enough to look the role. They've obviously given him the little curly little fringe thing. I wonder if they took a few visual design cues from more recent adaptations of Superman, perhaps. Maybe that's kind of the influence going into it. I mean, people will still have like fond memories of like Christopher Reeve's take on Superman. And he didn't fake those muscles, by the way. He really worked hard for them. And people on the whole are not very fond of Zack Snyder's needlessly drab attempt at mimicking Christopher Nolan, but people really appreciated what was the guy's name? the guy who is the Witcher, the Superman, the Man of Steel. What was the guy's name again? Man of Steel, Superman actor. What was that? Sorry, I've lost my mind. What was that guy's name again? For me, he just looks like a regular guy, not a Kryptonian. Yeah, I can see why you'd say that. I mean, there is kind of this, I guess, for lack of a better term, a somewhat beta male look to him. I guess it's because James Gunn was trying to give him the kind of look that would make him have the sort of Henry Cavill. Thank you, Double A. Yes, that's the name I was looking for. Thank you. I guess with this particular Superman, he seems kind of beta, especially when you compare him to previous adaptations. Christopher Reeves was a fairly buff guy, kind of a classic vibe. With Henry Cavill, as much as people didn't really like the direction of Zack Snyder's movies, people really agree on one thing. Henry Cavill was an excellent choice as Superman, especially with how buff he was. Like, quite the beefcake of a man, and big jawline. He really cares about the source material, even if it's not written very well. Let's see. Brandon Ruff, Henry Cavill, and Christopher Reeves look otherworldly handsome. Brandon Ruff. Is that the Superman from Superman Returns? Is that the one? I think that's the only one I can think of. Unless, well, there was also Superman and Lois. That's another live action adaptation of Superman. Yes. Okay. Brandon Ross was from. Right. Yeah. Because the thing about these extraordinary figures is that they're, in regards to how they're conveyed to the audience, they're meant to represent these idealized virtues, like. For example, Malika, just as well I brought her up, Malika would frequently bring up characters like how Lady Galadriel represents this sort of this otherworldly kind of femininity. Then Aragorn is the sort of divine masculinity. It plays into these academic concepts of divine masculinity and divine femininity, where you have these traits characterized with these specific genders that are so integral to the genders. Like with the masculine, you have that how do I describe it? The need to get into action, as it were, and to endure that action. And with the divine feminine, it's the nurture and how that nurture affects everyone around her. Like those kind of ideals, like these figures like Galadriel, Aragorn, in this case, Superman, are meant to reflect. It gets to the point where it rubs off on other stories, where in other stories, people will say, oh, I want to be like Superman. Like even in another Warner Brothers movie, like The Iron Giant aspires to be like Superman, this role model of hope, optimism, and heroism. Like this is the go-to superhero in today's culture, right? He's a Kryptonian. He needs to look out of this world handsome. He's not Bruce Wayne. That makes a lot of sense, actually. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much, Double A. If I ever get an opportunity to depict Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne in my drawings, I'll need to take note of what you said there, because that seems very crucial, very important to distinguish the two. Because I suppose in animated series, it's pretty easy to confuse both Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne, because they're both these fairly broad gentlemen with dark hair. So unless you give them specific quirks like the little twirly fringe of Superman and stuff like that, it's pretty easy to confuse the two if you're not paying attention. So yeah, I mean, with this actor here, David Corenswet, he's probably not the absolute ideal role for Superman, but I guess he's like youthful and energetic enough to fit the overall vibe that James Gunn is intending. And I guess it makes sense if this was a younger Superman becoming the Superman, as it were. But yeah, as you say, until we see the final product for itself, in the meantime, he looks like a regular guy, not a Kryptonian. Very interesting feedback. So thank you very much for bringing that up. Let's see. So that's us covered Superman. So now let us cover. Oh, they actually think this character is going to stand tall? Really? Really? Just the fact that they say legacy of Riri Williams. Oh, it's not going to be the best legacy for reasons I'll get into. Anyway, other comments by Double A. For other character, I get that physical beauty isn't the be-all, end-all. Yeah. But Superman is one character that has to have that quality. Yeah. Obviously, when you're writing some characters need to have the aesthetic appeal for the sake of thematic purposes. Why do Marvel want to promote D-level heroes? I don't get it. Desperation. D for desperation. Level D for desperation. I guess that's why. Tom Welling is another actor who is perfect for Clark Kent. Tom Welling, was he in the Superman and Lois TV series? I've yet to see that series. I've heard it's really good. Tom Welling, which version of Superman was that? Let me know in the comments. Madam Web's insane. She's practically an NPC. Another D-tier Marvel hero, at least as far as Tom Welling's in Smallville. Right, Smallville. Right. It was Smallville, right. I think Smallville is a completely different series from Superman and Lois, right? Yeah. Those TV series depicts like the more mundane aspects of Superman, and I suppose in many ways so did like films like Superman 3 in many ways. It's a humble reminder to remember that he is a local hero as much as he is a worldwide hero. Honestly, Aunt May is a bigger character than Madam Web in Spider-Man comic. Exactly. And that's saying a lot. Like, Peter wouldn't have gotten very far if it wasn't for Aunt May. Praise the Lord for Aunt May. Even when Peter has to put up with his meatloaf, with her meatloaf, at least with the Andrew Garfield version, with Charlie Sheen as Uncle Ben. Responsibility. I suppose to address this comment real quick, it's interesting how even though Beauty and the Beast teaches us that beauty is found deep within, there are some characters that have this aesthetic beauty for the sake of thematic purposes, like with Belle from Beauty and the Beast. She represents the idealized woman, like the ideal woman, the woman who is beautiful as much on the inside as much as her exterior. And I suppose with characters like Galadriel, the same kind of method applies. But as you say, with Superman, the handsomeness needs to apply. And that not only applies to heroic characters, that can also apply in fairly villainous ways, like in the film adaptation of Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Lucy gets jealous of her sister's looks. She wants to look like her sister, only for Aslan to humble her and realize you're fine just as you are. And of course, I can think of Griffith from the Berserk series, who's this very effeminate-looking man, and he has this very deceptive charm to him, and the fact that he has this overtly effeminate look thematically benefits that specific character. So yeah, the physical beauty definitely contributes to the characters, depending on how you write it. Of course, still has to be written well. Let's see, what were you saying here? It was cool making Iron Man go from B tier to A tier, but this is crazy. Elves in Lord of the Rings have to be handsome. Some the same with Kryptonians. Right. I will find a good-looking Kryptonian. I will find him. I will find him. Yeah, I like when evil characters show it on their face by getting uglier. Yeah. Great examples include The Witch in Snow White and Palpatine Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. The idea that getting into corruption corrupts your physicality as well. I suppose you get stuff like The Substance and other films like that, which talks about how the desperate artificial need to look more pretty ends up making you uglier. But of course, in the case of Palpatine and the Evil Queen, it's the case where their characters get more ugly the more they seek power. It's kind of ironic how the Evil Queen reverts to getting uglier in an attempt to kill off Snow White. And at least with the 1937 version, she dies in that ugly state. But in the original Grimm's fairy tale, she manages to kill off Snow White, only for the prince to kiss Snow White back to life. Evil Queen, gets her form back, but then she finds out Snow White's alive, and her punishment is to dance in burning hot shoes until she collapses. I suppose either way, the same thematic principle applies. That vanity will kill a person, but innocence thrives. And then with Palpatine, it's that it's not just Palpatine, but also other characters. Like you notice, like with the yellowy kind of eyes, the fact that the skin gets gradually pale, the fact that Anakin transitions to Darth Vader in such a drastic fashion, and then other characters throughout the Star Wars lore, the more they embrace the dark side, the more their skin gets pale, the more their eyes get kind of this unnatural yellow. Skills they would consider unnatural. It's a simple visual, but it's very effective. Should be done in movies more. Yeah, those eyes, those horrible yellow eyes. We're not talking about the people with hazel eyes in the audience there. You're just great. You're beautiful. That's the way you are. Yeah. So speaking of stories, I guess. So going back on topic, you've got Ironheart here. So this was a series that was meant to premiere 3 years ago, back when the whole DEI schlock was at its peak. But people have wisened up to the cheap tactic. Oh, good grief! Look at that! Look at that! That's not even drawn very well. People have wisened up to the ways of DEI characters, and if this series was actually called Iron yeah, I've just referred to the color Iron Fart because it's funny. If the series was actually called Iron Fart, I guarantee you we get more viewers than if it's called Iron Heart. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's continue calling her Iron Fart. She deserves it. So for those of you who don't know, you're probably thinking, Callum, why are you being so harsh towards Ironheart? Well, here's the thing. Ironheart's entire existence was made not out of genuine writing talent, but from pure spite. So basically, the reason she was invented as a character was to essentially be the very lazy attempt of saying, hey, here's a black version of Iron Man. The same reason they got other characters say, hey, here's a female version of this character. Here's this version of this character. Aren't we so inclusive? But I mean, here's the thing. Like, if you want to create African American version of Iron Man, then like fine. Like, if you want to make African American woman Iron Man, like fine, but you have to have the skillful writing to earn it. I mean, okay, let's address more comments first of all. Beans, they're good for your heart. The more you eat, the more you iron fart. What? You think that was just a crass joke? Beans have iron. Good one. There's a Wonder Man movie in the works, right? No, I guarantee you, Double A, they will never make a Wonder Man movie. And it's kind of interesting, you know, because they have these double standards when it comes to their version of inclusivity. Like, I know that men have been jerks for years, and I understand that women and people of these minorities deserve representation. I get it. But at the same time, like, the way Hollywood and these politically driven nutcases do it, it's done on a very artificial, performative basis. It doesn't feel authentic. It feels forced. So if you try to propose, hey, you have all this diversity and inclusion, why don't we have like a Wonder Man? Wonder Man! They'll never do it. Not these days. Why not? Because they absolutely hate white men, I guess. Like they hate them. They hate them. And it shows a double standard. Like, they claim to be all for diversity and inclusivity, but they backpedal when it comes to other kinds of representation. Like, if you're so insistent of having like a African American female replacement for Iron Man, like never mind War Machine, who was already a compelling character to counter Tony Stark's Iron Man, who was himself an African American. Never mind that. I'm talking about a character who's basically invented to be a replacement for Tony Stark entirely without the in-lore justification for that. Like, that kind of character is trying to be enforced and like advertised like crazy, and you're expecting us to just buy into it like just like that? Why? Oh, because she's this African American lady. No, she has to earn her character. I mean, what part of Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech did you not understand? He said, "I want to live in a world where people are judged not by the color of their skin, but by the quality of their character." Like, okay, just imagine you are colorblind. You see every skin shade as gray. Okay, what does Ironheart have to offer? Okay, her backstory goes as follows. A teacher told Riri Williams, who is Ironheart, that she will never live up to Tony Stark, who, might I remind you, in the MCU, did make a lot of weapons, but then got kidnapped by terrorists, was humbled, and then, by sheer pressure, surrounded by terrorists, invented a suit of armor in a cave with a box of scraps. Oh, okay, that quote was actually mainly about the Corey actor, but yeah, the same would apply for the suit as well. He invented that suit, escaped, and as soon as he got back, he decided to invent the suit, and that suit's become iconic. So basically, that kind of suit, Riri Williams found a way to basically steal Tony Stark's equipment. I'm not making this up. This is the actual lore. Riri Williams steals a suit from Stark Industries, gives it a few personal tweaks, and claims it as her own. That's not how making something iconic works. I mean, you want to be something iconic? Well, it's too late. Like, Tony Stark already invented the Iron Man suit and popularized it. It's too late. Not to mention, Tony Stark managed to redeem himself. Yeah, he did start off as this rich jerk, but he managed to humble himself, and he was redeemed. What does this character have by comparison? Oh, she wants to prove everyone else wrong. gonna take this Iron Man suit, modify it with my own. I'm the best one now. Look at me. Look at me. And this character was definitely one of the weaker aspects of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Basically the whole point of that film was that she discovered some vibranium or whatnot because she's just that amazing without any prior context as to why, or at least minimal at best. So she's brought in by the Wakandans to help them out, and she really helps them out by assisting them and stuff like that. But then during a chase scene, there's these policemen who are just trying to do their jobs, not knowing the full context of the bigger picture. And then Really Williams says, "Hey, I've got something." And then she crashes a satellite down the police cars, presumably killing off a few policemen, then goes, "Woo! Woohoo!" And she's never called out on that. Okay, look. Name one Avengers member who, name one original Avengers member who actively rejoiced at the death of a police cop just trying to do his job. Like, name one. Tony Stark? Nope. Bruce Banner? Nope. Steve Rogers? Nope. Hawkeye? Nope. Black Widow? Nope. Thor? Nope. Especially not Black Widow. Not War Machine? Nope. So what does that say about Riri Williams? She is a narcissist. Plain and simple. Oh, but she's a African-American woman. For Pete's sakes, they're judging her by an exterior basis, not looking at her character. She is a narcissist. And the thing is, you'll get other people sit online looking at these kind of critiques and then say, "You're a racist!" And those kind of people, that they just don't get it. And they're just in denial. Okay, if we're so racist, why is it that we didn't complain about War Machine or Nick Fury? Why is it that we did not complain about T'Challa to the extent of Ironheart? Why was it that no one complained about Killmonger? Why was it that nobody complained about Black Panther as a character? Why was it that no one complained about a certain other character? Here's the thing, T'Challa, War Machine, Nick Fury, they all had their character arcs and they all earned their respect. I mean, T'Challa's characterization was a bit poor in his own Black Panther movie, but T'Challa had a great character arc in Captain America Civil War. I think that's where T'Challa really shone. And obviously Chadwick Boseman, he will be missed. God bless his soul. Black Panther was a great character with a great character arc in Captain America Civil War. It's probably one of the best parts of Captain America Civil War. It's kind of sad that he didn't quite get a proper character arc in his own titular movie. Double A says, "Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a can of beans." It takes a lot of genuine passion and effort to make a fart joke work. I was watching Hot Shots Part 2, and there was this one fart joke that really made me laugh. We were swimming underneath. We saw the enemy up on the surface. I wondered, how are we going to sneak past them? And then it happened. Ow! Splash! Oh, man. So yeah, basically, this character, a lot of people think she's just people genuinely think that this narcissist is going to replace Tony Stark with little to no character development whatsoever. And this show was meant to be like released like back in like 3 years ago when the DEI nonsense was at its peak. But it got delayed, and now it seems that Marvel's trying their best to hide it. They seem kind of ashamed of this. I think, look, if you have any dignity, you can cancel it. You can cancel it. Just give us better written heroes, okay? Why not give us like a series further developing like Shuri or something? Like anything but this. For pity's sakes. Like, I don't even want to imagine the blasters on Iron Fart suits. That'll be effective in a different way. Fart power activate. Man, we are such children at times. So moving on from that. I guess we'll talk about something more positive. All right. Farting your way to the moon. Fart me to the moon. Oh man. Oh man. Hey, it's renewable. Be careful not to bloat your stomach, though. Be careful not to bloat your stomach. Believe me, I've been there. Man, the rest of the stream is just gonna be. Wait. Can I do it? Can I do it? We've got to have farting. There we go. I did it. Farting is such a wild. Oh man, I need to watch that Tom and Jerry movie. Wait, what? Oh, I love it. I love it. Right. Let's move on to a much more positive depiction of women, Stellar Blade. I can already hear any potential wokesters who dare to watch this live stream go, no! How dare you have actual beautiful woman? So you guys will remember that last year I was playing Stellar Blade for the PS5. And so since I went to the extent of completing the game, I might as well share this news that Sony has made Stellar Blade the Complete Edition for PS5, and this Complete Edition will release on PC. So the bad news is this is not a PS5 exclusive anymore. So sorry, PS5 marketing reputation. So yeah, this seems to be a major success for South Korea. This PC features is going to have a lot of promise. Let's see. Maybe shift up entertainment. All right, so. Right, let's see. AI upscaling and frame generation. All right, so basically the overall presentation has been improved. And this game was all about presentation. The game's not exactly perfect. I mean, I was interested in the game based on the biblical references it was mentioning and how it integrated that into the sci-fi apocalyptic plotline. That's what initially grabbed me into this story, but when I actually played the game, the narrative was sorely underdeveloped. I mean, the presentation was amazing. I mean, fine graphics, looked really good, but characters like Eve herself were significantly underdeveloped. I mean, it's cool to have those like mythical female warrior type, but she could have had more character development. I mean, hopefully this could add at least some more story, but I doubt it, unfortunately. So. I've been waiting for you. Unlocked frame rate. Japanese and Chinese voiceover. Apparently that was not an option lately. Also, remember when I played Stellar Blade in Italian just because I could? That was fun. Ultra wide display support. Wow. Ultra wide support. That is immense. That's good. That's like the frame, the aspect ratio of something like Lawrence of Arabia or something. Wow. All right. What other content does this have? DualSense controller support, feel haptic feedback, triggers and effects. So motion controllers. The fishing minigame. New boss battle with man. This is a friend guy, so obviously he's going to be training us. So this will be an interesting boss fight. Whoa. That looks like a pretty intense boss fight, maybe like Sam's Megalovania. And of course, the different outfits. 25 costumes added. Another critique I made of the game is that some of the outfits are absolutely ridiculous. Like, look, I know she's a bit of a lady, but come on, you guys. You got to have more dignity than this. That was another critique of mine. But with that said, okay, higher resolution, stuff like that. Okay, let's see. Where was it? Here we go. Full digital game. Pre-order bonuses. I mean, the pre-order bonuses actually looks pretty decent. I mean, and the complete edition bonuses. You see, I think these suits are serviceable enough because A, they showcase Eve's beauty in a way that doesn't, diminish her, and B, these suits are very practical for someone who's meant to be fighting hordes of alien zombie things. So yeah, these kind of suits make a lot of sense. I mean, I wore a suit similar to this. It was like the planet diving suit. In fact, that kind of looks like a bird, actually. That sort of golden design. So yeah, I wouldn't mind like designs like that. I mean, if I were to contribute to like the complete edition, I would insist on having more narrative development. I mean, I doubt that they've gone out of their way to do that, but the extra little perks are nice. The extra customizable options. I mean, hopefully, like I could transfer the save data from Stellar Blade into a copy like the complete edition. That would be cool. That would be cool if that was a valid thing worth doing. That way my progress wouldn't be lost. Although maybe just do the game again sometime. Who knows? So yes, that's that done and over with. Okay, so next topic. Yes. Yes, here's something more to our hearts. So recently been hearing that Andy Serkis has given us more insight for the upcoming Hunt for Golem movie. You might recall I made a video with it with Jarf and one of my subscribers, Alex, the Dish Smasher. Tom and Jerry, the movie, the game would be great. It's interesting you bring up a potential for... Oh, crap. Shit. Sorry. I'm sorry to swear on stream. I dropped a hard drive. That was not my intention. I do not want that to happen. Naughty, clumsy stuff. Sorry for the potty mouth. Right, there we go. I'm going to show you something interesting. Feel free to read the article. I'll be right back. I've got something interesting to show you in case you don't know what it is. Here it is. For some of you, this might bring back some childhood memories. Take a look at this. Okay, I'm gonna have to close this so you can get a better look at it. Take a look at this. Tom and Jerry, War of the Whiskers. It's 3D fighting game where it's one-on-one, and sometimes the tag team thing where one player per team fights off similar to Street Fighter. Except it's not a 2D fighting game; it's a 3D fighting game where you can go to these different environments to interact. There's all these hazards, and there's a lot of slapstick-based combat. If you want a video game adaptation of Tom and Jerry, this is pretty much as Tom and Jerry as it gets, and it's really fun. So there you go. It may not be Tom and Jerry the movie, but it's a Tom and Jerry video game, and it actually exists, and it's really fun. Man, they really need to re-release the classics like that. Ubisoft, good grief. That was back when Ubisoft had a soul. Anyway, back to Middle Earth. So Warner Brothers will release the first of its new batch of live-action Lord of the Rings films, 2026, which will focus Andy Serkis's Gollum. Now, original Lord of the Rings filmmaker Peter Jackson and his partners Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens are producing the movie and will be involved in every step of the way. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav said during an earnings call Thursday, the project is currently in the early stages of script development with writers Walsh and Boyens along with Phoebe Gittins and Artie Papageorgiou. I'm so sorry if I've mispronounced that. And will explore storylines yet to be told, Zaslav said in a press release from Warner Brothers later Thursday morning. I need to change the thing. Okay, where's the thing? Okay. That'll do. Anyway, okay, so Steve revealed the working title for the film is Lord of the Rings: Hunt for Gollum. It'll be directed by and starring Serkis in his iconic titular role. The film will be executive produced by Ken Cummins with Serkis and the Imaginarium's Jonathan Cavendish. Warner Brothers first announced in February 2023 that then newly installed studio leaders Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi had brokered a deal to make multiple films based on the beloved Tolkien books. The projects will be developed through Warner Brothers label New Line Cinema. Free Mode, a division of Embracer Group, made the adaptive rights deal for books including Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, under a venture named Middle-earth Enterprises. Yes, War the Rohirrim. Yes, very flawed movie, that is. I'll talk about that again sometime in the future. Vigo and Ian had better be in it because they actively play a role in Gollum's history. I mean, it's kind of a missed opportunity to have Gollum be the main character. I mean that sounds very odd to say, but I would have preferred like the Hunt for Gollum adaptation to be focusing on Aragorn's perspective as he's hunting down for Gollum. I mean, don't get me wrong. You could still like cut back and forth to Gollum, but I thought it would be pretty awesome to have this sort of back and forth cat and mouse game between Gollum and Aragorn. That would be pretty fun to do. But maybe we're not going to get that. That seems kind of a shame, but I mean, maybe they'll stick to that. I suppose maybe there is kind of this thrill of Gollum being hunted down by Aragorn, who's a well-trained tracker. So I guess there is still that possibility. So I look forward to that. And of course, Ian's got to return as Gandalf. He's got to. I mean, unless they get some imitator of Ian McKellen to play the role, because Gandalf and Aragorn play a crucial role. Cat and mouse. Yeah, I brought that on myself. We've got to have money. Oh, good grief. Now I'm imagining like Aragorn and Gollum in a sort of Tom and Jerry kind of fashion. Okay, that would probably be a bit too dark, actually. That'll be too dark. Because Gollum eats babies during this time. And that's not a very pretty thing to acknowledge. So just a reminder, there is this fan-made film of The Hunt for Gollum, which is really well made for a low budget. And it basically focuses on Aragorn hunting down Gollum. The reason why is because Gollum has a lot of intel in regards to the location of the One Ring, and he's been let loose from Mordor after so much torture. Gandalf has been insisting that Aragorn go capture him, so he does. And then when they capture Gollum, they take Gollum to the Elven Kingdom, where Gandalf later interrogates Gollum. So yes, Aragorn and Gandalf play a crucial role in Gollum's history. They've got to have Viggo and Ian back. Yeah. Aragorn doing Tom Screamer. We brought this on ourselves. I heard that Gollum eats babies. Tolkien went dark with that. Oh yeah, he goes dark. And here's the thing, like the Grimm's fairy tales, which Tolkien takes a lot of immense influence from, also went really dark. In fact, in an interview, Tolkien said that all stories about Gith. What about Gith? In this sort of signature rhythmic fashion. I mean, obviously we know Tolkien for the whimsical world he's managed to come up with and all the wonders that comes with it. But he can be pretty dark when he wants to be. I mean, he's written intense tragedies that could be up there with like Berserk in terms of scale. And he's there's a lot of dark stuff going on. Namely Gollum eating babies. That is just, yikes. Good grief. Are they actually going to address that in the film? Wow. That would be immense. That opening scene in Return of the King with Gollum transforming as dark as it gets. I want that darkness in Hunt for Gollum. Yeah, and in terms of like a film filter, that would make sense. That would make sense. Right. Obviously, this is going to be like set after the Bilbo Baggins managed to escape with the ring. So Gollum's going to emerge out of the cave to hunt down One Ring, only to get captured by people of Mordor, getting tortured, and so on and so forth. So let's see. Although there was another adaptation of approximately this time and period of Gollum's life called the video game called Lord of the Rings Gollum, but we don't talk about that video game. For over 2 decades, moviegoers have embraced Lord of the Rings. Okay. All right. I hope at the start, the hunt for Gollum, he's not fully Gollum yet. He's just found the ring recently. No, he will be fully Gollum because I don't think you understand the timeline doubly. You see, here's how it works. So Smeagol and Deagle are out fishing. They find the ring, and then Smeagol gets corrupted. He puts the ring on, and then plays about with it. Very dirty person, and then he does these bad stuff with the ring over time in his part of his own Hobbit folk, to the point where he's banished, and then he goes up to the mountains, and then slowly but surely he begins to detest the light, and start craving for like raw, lively fish, to the point where he just outright like goes into the mountain as this cave lurking creature, and of course develops the signature coughing noise that he is named after. And the throaty cough, talks very throaty kind of fashion. he is deteriorated in a significant way, but he did it all for his addiction to the One Ring. He could have used it for immense power, but the ring projected this projected Smeagol's perception of immense power as like his fishing habit. So, like that's what I'm saying. I want to see that stuff in the movie too. Oh, right. I thought you were indicating that the hunt for Gollum happens before he goes into the mountain. Right. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, it could. Maybe he like goes to a place where it gives him a flashback of when he was still Smeagol. Perhaps there is that possibility. So I suppose I should remind you that after. So then, of course, you have that riddles in the dark sequence in The Hobbit. Bilbo takes the ring, and then Gollum goes after him, and then that's when Gollum is taken into Mordor to be tortured, exposing what he knows about the ring. Hunt for Gollum is between The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. You're like, yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to explain. Yeah. So Gollum gets tortured in Mordor. He exposes what he knows about the ring to the enemy. Then he's set on the loose, and he has all that dangerous information. And so Gandalf learns about this, and so he informs Aragorn, who was then going under the alias of Strider, to go out as a ranger to go hunt down for Gollum. So Strider does his ranger stuff and uses his expert tracking skills, even meeting one or two other rangers en route as he's hunting down for Gollum. And eventually, Strider does eventually manage to capture Gollum and take him in. There's a bit of danger, but he manages to avoid that. And then he manages to get into like the Elven Kingdom. I can even share you a link to like a fan-made film about. In fact, I made a video about reacting to the fan-made film. You can go check out. So basically, Gollum is taken into this Elven Kingdom by Strider. That's where Gandalf congratulates Strider, and then Gandalf interrogates Gollum, and I'll address that comment soon enough. And so after Gollum is interrogated by Gandalf, Gollum finds a way to escape the Elven Kingdom, so he's on the loose again. It's around this time that the events like the Fellowship of the Ring starts to occur, and Gollum manages to eventually catch up with the Fellowship and start to follow them, and so the rest of they say is history. One thing I love about Gollum is his wisdom. Well, I suppose everyone gains a sort of wisdom around some aspect of life once they've gotten used to it for so long. He's been around the Black many times and knows his way around Middle-earth and has a certain level of wisdom and knowledge of Sauron and Middle-earth. Well, yeah, I mean, it's what happens when you're out exposed to the world and you're exploring it a whole bunch. I mean, at the end of the day, he did all this because he's a skilled fisherman, and he went all these travels just purely because of his craving for that addiction to the One Ring. He loves and hates the ring as much as he loves and hates himself. It's that sort of toxic relationship of wanting the ecstasy, but also acknowledging the pain that goes with that. It gets to the point where there was this tragic fact I learned about where the ring started becoming uncomfortable to wear for Gollum, and so he started to take it off. So he's a very deeply tragic character in that sense. He loves and hates the ring in equal measure. Yeah, exactly. So let's see. We are honored that we have agreed by our partners to making these two films. With Andy coming aboard to direct Lord of the Rings Hunt for Gollum, we continue to an important commitment to excellence that is a true hallmark of how we all want to venture ahead and further contribute to Lord of the Rings cinematic history. It is an honor and privilege to travel back to Middle Earth with our good friend and collaborator Andy Serkis, who has unfinished business with that stinker Gollum. That stinker Gollum. As lifelong fans of Professor Tolkien's vast mythology, we are proud to be working with Mike DeLuca, Pam Abdi, and the entire team at Word about another epic adventure. Serkis said, "The time has come once more to venture into the unknown with my dear friends, the extraordinary and comparable guardians of Middle Earth. Peter, for Pete's sake, is doing that thing. Peter, the rest of the people in New Zealand, yet it's all too delicious. The original Lord of the Rings trilogy, helmed by Jackson, grossed nearly $3 billion worldwide. Jackson's follow-up trilogy, based on Tolkien's The Hobbit, matched those grosses. Jackson's first Lord of the Rings trilogy starred lead people to refer to films that nominated. Okay, blah 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 blah. Okay, so that's the end of that topic. Smeagol was weird before getting the ring, to be fair. I suppose you have to think and consider the fact that there's a reason why he fell into the temptation of the fact that there's a reason why he seemingly instantly fell for the ring's temptation, whereas others like Frodo were more hesitant to indulge in the ring's evils. So there is that to take into consideration. I mean, the thing about falling into evil is that it's not a one done thing. There's often a series of temptations and stuff like stuff I've been like learning for like this book, even like stuff like a panic is not as sudden as it appears. There's usually these pre-established anxieties and fears that get established prior to the panic. So in that same sense, these other bad stuff happening prior to other kinds of temptations and stuff like that. I love when they say the ring found this person. Love that concept. Aye. Like there's this dark force behind. Well, of course, we know that dark force is Sauron. It's that force of evil trying to actively destroy people's lives. It's very similar to like the Necronomicon from the Evil Dead series, or like the Baelit from the Berserk series. Like the idea of this very ominous demonic item that has this alluring promise of a power of some kind, and I suppose the Death Note Death Note worked the same way, right? Yeah, this item of ominous doom that can be catastrophic in anyone's hands. Certainly a rather intriguing device for on a narrative basis for exploring how people can fall into that and ruin not only other people's lives but ultimately themselves. Very interesting how that works. So speaking of questionable things that probably shouldn't be tampered with, I've been hearing a rumor that apparently future Dragon Ball content is to be made by AI. How about not? I always say I always say, who are we to judge Gollum? If we were in his position, would we end up with the same fate? I think most would. Yeah, that's something to consider. Like a lot of people don't really take that time to think about that. Like, there's a reason why there's a video with Jordan Peterson where he said that you would have been a Nazi too. It's the idea it's so easy to judge and shame and condemn, but if you actually take the time to think about the thought process and what motivated these people to do what they do, would you have done any better? Temptation's a very easy thing to fall into, and the vast majority of people fall into various kinds of evils for different reasons. Like I suppose in the case with Hitler, and like people were looking for a simple hope. Like to paraphrase like Alfred from The Dark Knight, you butchered them, you bullied them to the point where they turned to a man they didn't fully understand. And in many respects, I don't think this is a man you fully understand either. I don't know if you've seen the German film Downfall. That is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Downfall, and yes, this is the movie with the meme of Hitler ranting. Just so you know. But in the movie Downfall, that movie does an excellent job at showcasing why people looked up to such an immoral monster. It's because they were desperate for someone, anyone to step in as a symbolic, a messianic figure. And the Downfall does a great job at portraying Hitler as this corrupt figure that did provide hope for people, but ultimately he fell purely because of his own prideful pettiness. The movie doesn't justify Hitler's evils at all. Of course, the movie acknowledges that Hitler is one of the most evil men to ever live. At the same time, the movie does go out of its way to humanize Hitler to the extent where you can understand why people would follow such a monster. It's a brilliant character analysis. I mean, obviously it's based on a true story, but, you know, the film adaptation does a great job at, depicting it, if you get what I mean. That's why Frodo is such a hero. Most people think it's just Sam. I mean, well, a lot of people still do, yeah. But no, Frodo is the greatest hero for resisting the temptation that would consume the majority of us. Yeah. I mean, I still admire Samwise Gamgee for just being this basic gardener lad who, when the going gets tough, he steps up his game and is willing to go through thick and thin just to protect his master. I mean, don't get me wrong. That is great heroic in itself, but you have to remember, all the members of the Fellowship, to some extent or another, represent different kinds of heroism. With Sam, it's the loyal friend who'll be with you there thick and thin, and as you said, with Frodo, it's the person who carries the weight of the world. In fact, Tolkien was never fond of allegory, but he did insist that the spiritual themes would come interwoven into the plot itself on an inevitable factor. So by that standpoint, people have analyzed that the characters Frodo, sorry, speaking for so long, Frodo, Aragorn, and Gandalf represent the Holy Trinity. So Gandalf would be the God representative. Aragorn would be the Christ representative. Well, I suppose they all represent Christ in many ways. I suppose that makes Frodo the Holy Spirit to resist. Or is it Frodo the Christ figure and then Aragorn the Holy Spirit? I'll need to try to remember this, but basically those three also represent like different kinds of masculinity. Gandalf represents like the sort of divine masculinity as well as old man masculinity. Because if you actually do your research, Gandalf isn't just some guy. He's actually an angel, which is really cool. And it really explains why he's immortal and why he has all these cosmic powers that go beyond any so-called wizard from any other media. And in Frodo's case, much like Christ, he carries the weight of the world, just like Christ carries the cross. So too does Frodo carry the ring, which is the burden of everything, into the fire until it's done. It is finished. With Boromir, he represents a sort of redeemed kind of heroism where he did fall into temptation, but he was never too far gone that he couldn't redeem himself. And so he redeemed himself with a heroic sacrifice. Merry and Pippin would also be underdogs in many ways, like the more simple kind of people who, I mean, the hobbits are already homely people, but I guess Merry and Pippin definitely represent the people who are more comedic than the other characters, but even still carry out that message, that love for home, basically. Legolas and Gimli, the loyal friends, respective of their own different people. Aragorn, the long lost king who returns. There's different forms of heroism, and they all contribute to the plot in very significant, profound ways. Modern Hollywood still can't have these kind of friendships. It always has to be romantic or it has to be high stakes. Yeah, they can't conceive of platonic relationships. It's just, whoop, platonic. What's that? What's an example of an allegory? Pilgrim's Progress. Pilgrim's Progress is the most well-known allegory that I can think of. It's this sort of dreamy fantasy story where John Bunyan imagined this concept of this pilgrim who is literally named Christian. Like, this is as overt as it gets. Like, pilgrim named Christian realizes that the town he's living in is in spiritual danger, so he flees everything he's known behind, and then he follows this guy named Evangelist. Yes, he's literally called Evangelist. This is how overt the allegory goes. And there is paradise waiting on the other end, but there are several obstacles getting in the way, and the whole thing is written in Old English, and there's been various translations to accommodate the different generations of people. It's been republished multiple times, so that's why it's the most well-known version. Other examples of allegories, I suppose there was like The Fairy Queen, written by Edward Blake. I think that was allegorical of like the politics at the time. People would often say, oh, C.S. Lewis's Narnia series, that's allegorical, but C.S. Lewis himself, and this is something we need to be corrected on, C.S. Lewis himself said that he didn't imagine Narnia as a allegory. He imagined it more as a suppositional thing. Like, okay, suppose Jesus were to appear as a talking lion, how would that go down, basically? So an allegory is when the overall presentation of a story is meant to overtly represent real-world events and real-world concepts in a very overt kind of manner. And Tolkien didn't like that. I mean, if you like... if you like allegory, then fine. That's who am I to judge? I mean, I don't see anything wrong with allegory. Allegory certainly has its place. And here's the thing: like themes of virtues and things that we like getting woven into like the stuff that we like. I mean, that's inevitable. And certainly elements of like the Christian story, like the need for a Christ, a Messiah figure, the need for redemption, the need for purpose and stuff like that. Like, that's inevitable too. Like, that's inevitably going to show up in the stories that we tell at some point or another. That's just inevitable. It's just a matter of how well you can write it, basically. I mean, not all of them are going to be written that great. I mean, the God's Not Dead series is not very well made at all. Man, to think there was a time when I actually kind of liked the first God's Not Dead movie, but I was pretty immature back then. Looking back at the movie, yeah, it is horrendously written, and the depiction of the antagonist, it's just so one-dimensional. The sort of good guy versus bad guy mentality on a superficial basis. It's just so farcical. The way you need to actually write is just show it in action. Show it in action, and people will actually be inspired to, change for the better. Okay, so what other topics need to be addressed? Okay, so covered that. Oh, yeah. Speaking of very poor media, so apparently during the American Mother's Day, Disney, in their infinite wisdom, thought it was the best idea in the history of anything to re-release arguably their worst performing movie in their entire history for American Mother's Day. and it got beaten in the box office. Again. Like, what is this? South Park? Like, what did they think was gonna happen? Did they honestly think that this movie is their Top Gun Maverick? Really? Do they honestly think that? Why? It is one of the worst films I have ever seen in my life. And the vast majority of people agree with me on that statement. There are so many women, so many female reviewers I've noticed online who also despise the Snow White 2025 movie. It is such a horrendous movie. It's poorly paced, it's poorly characterized. The thematics are confused. The CGI looks horrendous. And you thought it was a good idea to have your film that was already performing poorly and re-release it. Why? Just out of sheer hubris? What did you think you would win? It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Didn't Einstein define insanity? To quote Vass from Far Cry 3. Have I ever told you the definition of insanity? Insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That is crazy. Yup. Good grief. Behold, ladies and gentlemen, the definitive example of insanity. Right there. Doing the exact same thing again, expecting a different result. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. So what else is there to share? Okay, so covered that. I guess now is the time to talk about, where is it? Fundraising. Right. So, once again, I'm going to be running the Loch Ness Marathon, and this year I've decided to contribute funds to the My Name's Doddy Foundation. This is a charity that helps people under a very serious physical condition, and it's named after someone who was very enthusiastic about a particular sport, and right, we are the My Name's Doddy Foundation. We're absolutely committed to a goal, a world free of MND. We leave no stone unturned in the relentless pursuit of this goal as we fund, guide, and enable the smartest, most efficient MND research to catalyze a cure for motor neuron disease. So this is a charity that's going to be doing research against motor neurons disease, and I'm going to be contributing to that so that people can, live physically better lives, because our bodies are temples at the end of the day, and that's a very important thing to acknowledge. So just going to double check on certain things. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. So everything's coming along underway fantastically. And that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. There was a lot to catch up with because a lot happened in this past week, the announcements and things like that. We're glad to have finally caught up. Sorry, I'm just sorting stuff out. Right. All right. Comment says, so long, Godspeed. I mean, I can be here for a little bit longer for just talking about the general state of what's been happening. Um, I think I mentioned earlier in this live stream that animated works are finally beginning to have legit impact on, come on, work. Impact on movies like Jordan Peele and Ryan Coogler mentioned that they got inspiration from Akira and Puss in Boots: The Last Wish for their movies. So it's great to know that animation is being taken as a legit work of art. So I'm glad to hear about that. What's your favorite film of the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s? Oh, now that's a very good question. That is a very good question. And I'm somewhat prepared for that. Somewhat. Let's see. Just give me a moment. It's going to take me a while to actually do my research on this. Because I actually have taken a note on what my favorite movies are. Good grief, which one was it? Did I create two copies of that? Yeah, I guess it's this one. Yeah. Right. 50s is easy for me. 12 Angry Men. Yeah, 12 Angry Men. That is an easy one. Yeah. I can understand that. I'd say that's probably one of my favorites that I put down. Did I put that down there? I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I put that down there as one of my favorites. Yeah, 12 Angry Men. That is a fantastic movie, and it achieved so much with so little. It's such an impressive feat. I mean, there were some ambitious movies going on during the 50s, but then you have this movie that does so much with so little. I mean, literally, all the movie is just 12 guys in a room talking in concept. That sounds like the most ridiculously boring movie you'll ever see. But the strength of this movie lies in its screenplay. This screenplay is such a brilliantly strong screenplay. It keeps you engaged. It has this basic hook of this boy's guilty and he's been convicted. He's convicted as guilty, and the murder case seems like a pretty easy win. But then there's this one guy in the courtroom who says, actually, I doubt it. And the forces seem against his opinion that the boy is innocent at first, but then gradually begins to persuade the people in the room. And so this whole thing becomes a battle of wits as to whether this boy is guilty or not. And it's really engaging, especially when you had to consider cinematography techniques, such as how it starts off as fairly distant to establish the span of the room. But then gradually it gets increasingly stormy outside, it gets darker outside, then we're gradually moving in to more close-ups of their faces as we're getting more personal with the characters. Currently talking movies if you want to join in. Right. So where was I? It's timeless. Absolutely, it's timeless. I mean, 12 Angry Men is like, it's really impressive. I mean, this should bore people to death, and yet it's one of the most engaging films that you'll ever see. It's so gripping. It absolutely grips you from the start, and it never lets go to the end. It gets pretty intense by the end. You can't prove it! It's so engaging. All right. I'll join you later. Yeah, I mean, okay, I did make a movie. Okay, so 50s. What other movies came out from the 50s? I need to double check something. The Seal. When did that movie come out? All right. Okay, I've got another movie like that. Okay, Ben-Hur. That's another 50s movie. Ooh, man. There's a lot of 50s movies, actually. Ooh, man. Okay, 50s. I have two other movies I would say are my. I mean, I love. Don't get me wrong. I love like the 12 Angry Men. Hold on, let's gotta check something else. Okay, so that's a 1940 movie. So you said okay, so that's not right. So in regards to 50s movies, I would also bring up The Seventh Seal. That's one of my all-time favorite movies at the moment. The Seventh Seal is made by a great Swedish filmmaker, Ingmar Bergman, who hasn't hesitated talking about these existential topics from the perspective of a lost soul, and that's personified best in his fantasy movie, The Seventh Seal. This existential movie about this knight wrestling with doubt and how he's trying to find a rational way out, and he's having a game of chess with death over it. And what he needs to take is a personal leap of faith, which seems so hard for him to do. And it's a great film to delve into that kind of existential dread of uncertainty. And I've made an entire video about the topic matter, and it seems to have really affected people profoundly. Another 1950s movie, and this was made 1959, Ben-Hur. Like, when I think of epic movies, Ben-Hur is usually what comes to mind. It's such a brilliant cinematic achievement. I mean, it is a simple story, but I think it needed to be the length that it did just to emphasize how pointless Ben's ambitions for revenge are, but also the glory of redemption that comes from acknowledging the need for a savior. So your 70s pick is Dog Day Afternoon. I have never heard of that movie in my entire life. I'd be curious to hear more about that. Dog Day Afternoon. Dog Day Afternoon. Right, I need to double check on when. Right. 1975 American crime drama film. All right. Okay. I need to double check. Okay. No. Okay, so I've answered for. Okay, what movies were made in the 60s? 60s. That's not good. Okay, Life of Brian. I could certainly pick the Monty Python movies for my 70s pick. Hilarious movies, absolutely hilarious movies. 60s. What movies were made in the 60s? 60s. I guess it doesn't get 60s. What movies were made in the 60s? It's hard to think about definitive 60s movies. Let's see. 60. I suppose Winnie the Pooh and like the Jungle Book. Those are 60s movies. I've got fond memories of those movies from the 60s. Top 100 movies of the 1960s. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Let's keep in mind, I've yet to see a lot of it. Lawrence of Arabia. Yes. Lawrence of Arabia. There's a great 1960s movie. That's another brilliantly epic movie. Very much like Ben-Hur in terms of scope. It showcases like the immense impact of this one individual, and to see if he's lived up to that kind of reputation. Yes. Lawrence of Arabia has got to be my personal favorite 60s era movie. Another 70s pick for me is The Way of the Dragon. Yeah, with Bruce Lee. Yeah, I can see why. You just gotta love that kind of awesome martial arts display. When was Drunken Master made? Drunken Master 78. Drunken Master, that's a fun Hong Kong movie made in the 70s. That's another great martial arts movie. That happened to be made in the 70s. And Jackie Chan, I think, took a lot from Bruce Lee, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. So we've obviously had our picks for 70s. Now for the 80s. This is going to be very interesting. Back to the Future. That's a great pick, especially the first part. It's a great movie. Fun movie. Blade Runner, great existential kind of movie to bring up these serious questions about the implications of AI. Amadeus. That's an 80s movie that myself and my friend Brooks really adores. Amadeus. I would happily recommend Amadeus to anybody. I think Amadeus is the greatest 80s period movie you're ever going to come across. It's a must watch, an absolute must watch. Like, Amadeus is so good. It's as close to perfect as you can get. That's how good it is. Like, the acting is perfect. The casting is perfect. The way the music is played into the story is perfect. It's the editing it's so well paced. It's so well told. It's so well conveyed. So well scored. It's a masterpiece of a movie that I would recommend anybody watch if they want to get into filmmaking, if you want to get into storytelling. It's just a brilliant story. Okay, so 90s now. So 90s, what movies were made in the 90s? Princess Mononoke. That's one of my favorite ones. I'm pretty sure that was made in the 90s. Okay, that was made in the 90s. Yes, that was made in the 90s. Princess Mononoke is a particular favorite of mine. It's basically the environmental message done right. You see so many movies that say save the rainforest, but I suppose going back to what I said about actually taking the time to understand people in their positions, Princess Mononoke does exactly what we were talking about with Gollum earlier. Basically, Princess Mononoke actually takes the time to examine the motives of not just the people on nature side, but also the people on the human side, and both sides are trying to gain the territory for their preservation. Well, obviously with the nature people, they're trying to preserve nature to keep the resources and keep people alive. But the humans need to destroy the land in order to gain access to iron to earn their living in the poor conditions that they're in. And so there's this war that keeps going on. And as Pilgrim's Past said in a recent video of his, a war basically involves two sides that cannot, two ideas that cannot exist together. So they have to be in conflict. But in comes Ashitaka, who says, actually, there can be peace between both sides. You just have to change your perspective to see with eyes unclouded by hate. So obviously, it's interesting that I bring that up in regards to Pilgrim's Past recent videos about why so many stories are about war. It's the fact that war happens because two ideas cannot exist together, so they must be in conflict. And to some extent or another, every story is about conflict of some kind. That's inevitable. There's always going to be violent or not, there's always going to be a conflict between virtue and vice. So what Ashitaka does in Princess Mononoke is change the dynamics. He, instead of having two people fight for this certain land, he encourages people to actually work together to restore their lands as well as their relationship with each other. So that change of perspective changes the dynamics and profoundly impacts people for the better, even if they don't automatically heal over time. And that's what makes the ending for Princess Mononoke that much more profound in a way. The fact that even when people understand Ashitaka's intention to bring harmony between humans and nature, Mononoke herself is hesitant to be at peace with the humans. Ashitaka looks at his curse, and there's still a little mark indicating the potential for it to grow, but it's established early in the film that the curse only grows by fear and hatred. So the best way forward is the opposite of that: love and peace, as Bash the Stampede and Trigun says. It's a brilliant message. Another favorite 90s movie of mine that's also animated, The Prince of Egypt. Amazing adaptation of Exodus. Accidentally said it was an adaptation of Genesis in my review, so I had to edit that out. Let's see, there was also other movies made in the 90s. 90s. What other movies were made in the 90s? I guess those were my favorite. That answers that question. I mean, I could go on and on, but I think that answers the majority of the questions. So what else is there to talk about? Recently, I've been watching comedy movies with a friend, The Fifth Element. Oh, Rumble in the Bronx. I've never heard of that movie. The Fifth Element. I've seen that movie. That's a crazy movie. In the best way possible, in many ways. Definitely a recommended watch in terms of seeing French filmmaking at play, just experiencing the whole bizarre element of it, as well as a sort of heroic journey about Bruce Willis looking after this female person. And the Gary Oldman villain, stuff like that. What comedy films have you seen? So recently, in recent days, and even earlier this year, I've with a friend of mine who I'm making a new YouTube channel with. We've been watching as of recently the first two Naked Gun movies. As well as the Hot Shots movie. If you keep up with me on Letterboxd, you'll know exactly when I managed to get the chance to see them. Or approximately. So I think they're all made by the same creator, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a kind of comedy I like. Just really wacky, really hysterical, just going all in on the absurdity of it. Like, and it's the kind of movie that will leave you laughing just thinking about it after you're done with it. Like right now, thank you. Like right now, there's this. Thank you very much. Like right now, there's this one particular gag from like Hot Shots Part 2 where like the senile American president is diving like underwater with two other guys to try to sneak into the enemy base, and you hear him narrating. There's this one thing he says that I can't stop laughing when I think about it. It's, basically, he's narrating. So my men and I were swimming through the water, and then I began thinking to myself about why I packed the helium instead of the air. Why he packed the air tanks with the helium instead of the air. And his voice gets higher up in pitch as he's wondering about this. And then in a later scene, as they're slowly swimming their way through, he noticed like the enemy guards on the boat upstairs. I mentioned this earlier, so he then says, "We then saw the enemy guards up on the boat above. We wondered how we were going to get past them unnoticed, and then it happened." He lets out a fart, and then the bubbles open up on the surface, and the guards go, "Ah!" and then they fall into the water. And And those movies, your Kingpin voice is great. It's just, I mean, I'm good with a lot of voice impressions, but I'm glad that my Kingpin voice particularly was well received for that one video I did recently. Fun fact about that Kingpin and Daredevil video regarding May the 4th. It was an idea I actually had a while back when Daredevil Born Again was premiering, and I saw that episode in the cafe, and I had seen the trailer of the two of them in the cafe before that, and I had this funny idea about debating Han shot Greedo first. I had that funny idea, but for some reason, I never committed to making a video about it. But then when May the 4th was coming up, I thought, oh, that video idea that I had earlier, I should commit to that. And so I committed to that, and I got a lot of views, a lot of laughs. Who shot first, Han or Greedo? Sorry, guys. I often cough quite a lot whenever I talk for too long. It's happened when I read Asterix comics. It happened that all of it. I have a cure. Right. Manuka honey with ginger. Oh wait, no, it's just Manuka honey. Yeah, it's just Manuka honey. Never mind. Ah. I sometimes find that a primal scream is the only satisfying release. Thing about Kingpin is that he's at least with the way he's depicted by Vincent in the Daredevil series, is that he has a very interesting manner of speaking, and that he is this very rough kind of guy, but at the same time, he's a very calculating, tough guy. So every time he speaks, it's in a very articulated kind of way. He's very precise with his words. So that's why you hear him phrase things like, "But I have something I have to say to you." He's very articulate with the way he conveys the words, which makes for very interesting characterization. I think it's something to do with the fact that, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Vincent himself affirmed that he was autistic. I think, from what I remember. So I think that's definitely, through one way or another, that's contributed to his characterization of Kingpin. So that's something to keep in mind with that depiction of Kingpin. What else is there to talk about in regards to the culture as of recently? There's stuff coming up. Oh yeah, Mission Impossible. The last ever Mission Impossible movie will be coming up very soon, and I doubt that they're going to continue the franchise without Tom Cruise. They can't do that. he made the film franchise what it is. So it's going to be releasing now. All right. I heard that some people got the chance to see it early, but it seems that it's now been released. Oh man. They're going all big with I mean, some posters have the Tom Cruise with the sort of profound sort of black and white filter, but other posters I'm noticing, like this one from View Cinema, is Tom Cruise on this on the biplane, struggling for dear life. Yeah, you know he's going all in with the stunts. I look forward to seeing that. I really enjoyed the first part of. I really enjoyed Dead Reckoning. I really need to watch more Mission Impossible movies. I really need to do that. Sinner seems to be making the rounds, from what I've heard. Minecraft movies still in cinema. Let's see. David Attenborough is releasing an ocean documentary showcasing how the ocean has these ingredients that can help the Earth recover. Warfare still in cinema. Great. Ballerina is going to be releasing fairly soon. The John Wick spin-off thing. The Formula One movie, that seems interesting. DreamWorks will also be releasing The Bad Guys 2. I think that'll be good damage control for the reception of Shrek 5. Might as well have more of this. There's some really promising stuff up and coming after all this time. Let's see, what else is going to be premiering this year? If I'm not mistaken, I think Andy Serkis is going to be releasing his adaptation of Animal Farm by George Orwell. I'd be very curious to see how that goes down. I'd be very curious to see how that's going to happen. Let's see. What else is there? What else is there going to be? What other movies are there going to be to take note of? Oh yeah, Karate Kid Legends. Speaking of martial arts, as we were mentioning earlier, that'll be fascinating to take a delve into. Better Call Saul. He's coming back, and Nobody too. Wait, what the heck? Oh yes, the How to Train Your Dragon remake's gonna be coming out later. Wonder how that's gonna turn out. Will people like it, or will it just be a cheap cash grab? Oh yes, Jurassic World Rebirth. It's probably going to be slop, but people won't really care. They're in it for dinosaurs. They always hold the spectacle. Cars are a spectacle. Let's see what else there is. Oh yeah, the Naked Gun remake. Yes. It's just as well I've been catching up with like the first and the second Naked Gun movie. I've yet to see the third Naked Gun movie. But from what I understand, this new Naked Gun movie is going to be it's catching my interest. Lieutenant Frank, the new version. Just the imagery of this angry old man face in that little high school girl body. Yeah, it's very wacky comedy that's accustomed to like the Naked Gun series. Tron Ares, that's going to get a lot of attention. Avatar Fire and Ash, that's going to get Malika's attention, given how she talked a lot about the second Avatar movie. Oh yeah, looking for good. Yeah. Predator Badlands, I think that's going to be bad. Let's see. Dogman. I've yet to watch Dogman. I should have taken the time to watch it. Let's see. Elio. Disney Pixar's Elio. They might have their chance to redeem themselves if people actually bother to see that movie. I mean, hopefully it's not too late. Hopefully Pixar and Disney can, find a... Oh yeah, Happy Gilmore 2. That's going to be coming out. What the heck? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Rise of Leo. What's this? Directed by Jonah Kemi. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. Let's see. Zootopia 2. Is that going to be released later this year? Maybe that's going to be delayed. Return to Silent Hill. Oh yeah, there were movies of Silent Hill. I mean, wonder if that's going to go down. Okay, just going through. Yeah, I think I've stretched this live stream long enough. Right. So thank you all so much for watching and for taking the time to come in and say hello. Really appreciate your support as always, even if it was just mostly double A, just bantering with me. All right. You'll find this. This is. There he is. Where am I? All right. Welcome to the live stream, folks. Also endorsing your stuff. Plenty of stuff has been going on. It's just basically just to briefly go over everything that was going on in this live stream. So, where am I? Just bring up the fact that Malik has been making new music. Cartoon Network may or may not be coming to an end. Shrek 5 is going to be doing an Enchanted, apparently. Dragon Ball is going to be made by AI. The future Dragon Ball content made by AI. There's a new YouTube channel I'm working on that's almost ready. And Stellar Blade's going to have a complete edition. Superman looks interesting. Iron Farts is going to be a farcical show. Snow White got beaten in the box office again on American Mother's Day. I managed to make a good contribution. And fundraising for my marathon run and for the sci-fi story for Brooks and I is coming along very well. So there we go. I foresaw this. All right. So that I think this is good timing. I'm approaching the end of this live stream. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. Because a lot happened in the past week, so I just wanted to catch up with all that and make the live stream was worth it, especially to raise awareness of fundraising. So, to those of you who may still be watching, if anything at all, feel free to check the links to the different fundraising campaigns in the description below, as well as the different social media pages that were mentioned in this live stream. And thank you all so much for joining in to hang out with me, and look forward to the next live stream. In terms of future content, expect a review of the Breaking Bad series at some point in the distant future. And I'll also be making a review of what I consider to be the greatest anime series ever made. If you haven't figured it out, I'm gonna stay silent on that for now. There's another animated film I'm planning to do a review for. More awesome stuff is up and coming. I've mainly been focusing on working on the new YouTube channel, as well as a number of other stuff that's been coming up. So just needless to say, I guarantee you the near future, awesome stuff's coming. All right, and I think that about does it for real this time. Thanks for watching. Go to the fundraising campaign things mentioned down below, and I will sort things out accordingly. And you'll find this on the playlist of live streams and stuff like that. In the meantime, Scott Stinker signing out. Boop.